am just so grateful for this beautiful new day and the light that each one of your spirits bring to this place and to the world. So let's celebrate by singing When I Walk. Please stand. Welcome once again, church community. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yay! And we have a special welcome today to Koon, who is the son of Marie Anderson. We are just so grateful Thank you for sharing your gifts with us today. You are so welcome here. Have anyone who is here for the first time? If so, okay, we have a few people, a couple people over here, sitting kind of by Marie. Anyone over here? Right. Martin, we'll get something for you there. Thank you so much for coming. We're so glad you're here. Welcome to be here. Look at the handout that you received. Program this coming Wednesday night. A Taizé service begins on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. A journey of music and meditation and reflection, which is centered on the theme of change. What I need to know is the Course of Miracles meeting this Wednesday night.
Yes.
6 p.m. for Course of Miracles, 7 o'clock for the Taizé service. Also, on your back of your bulletin, it explains how you need to mark your calendar for 3 weeks in April, where Father Patrick Collins will present the view of the life of Thomas Merton, bound to be an incredible experience. So mark those dates right now on your calendar. We are honored today to have Pat and Bill, Patricia and Bill with us, as they have in the past, and they are now gifts for our special music.
We're very happy to be here again. Unity of the Lakeshore, on the Lakeshore. Got here nonetheless. And I notice in the program it's only my name. I do solo work, but here we are together. Patricia Pettinga and Bill Wilging. It's kind of a long two names, so we keep thinking of names. Bill would like Pat and Pending.
Pat and Pending.
Is that the one? And I thought of one just this morning, Whiff and Poof, but I don't know if that's good. This is a song I wrote. It's a protest song. I am a folk singer, and it fits with today's theme. It's a protest song against multitasking. So it's a song about doing nothing is what it's about. And even though it's a song about me doing nothing, if you would like, there's a part for you to sing in it. Here it is. Yodelay, 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 yodelay. Lovely. All right, I'll kind of nod when that's coming up.
If it's not too much work.
Yeah, nobody's required to do that. We're not. Sitting in my backyard, watching time go by. Just a couple of minutes ago, I believe I saw it fly. I have been checking out the time to see just what it might have in store for me. I used to be part of all the goings-on, till I got in a race with a couple of rats and I believe they won. So I reckon I'll just reconnoiter a while, or maybe do a little ruminating, or maybe I'll just put all that off while I think about procrastinating. Here it is. Yodelay, odelay, yodelay. Nicely done. I just heard my telephone ring. I heard it quit. That darn thing seemed such a long ways away, I really didn't want to answer it. My doorbell is broken, the front door stuck. Those latter-day Saint boys are out of luck. In case of any real emergencies, the neighbors' cats and my good friends, they know where to look for me. I'll be sitting in my backyard, watching all the grass grow tall. And if that should prove too much of a strain, I won't do a single thing at all. Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay. I said yodelay, 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 hee-hoo. Minor key, I'm getting serious. I want to be like Henry David Thoreau, sit by the pond and listen to the algae grow, hang out with poets and philosophize, get tight with nature and economize, observe the sun as it moves from east to west, and then I'll write in my journal and take a rest. I'll be so tired I'll need a rest. Yodelay, 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 lay, yodelay, 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 lay, yodelay, yodeloo. Everybody, yodelay, yodelay, yodelay. Yes, I am the sort that likes to watch wet paint dry, but that would mean I'd have to paint. I used to get some pretty wild ideas, but I'm learning how to show restraint. Now I may seem like a so-and-so, too busy folks always on the go. Well, they've got their business and I too have mine. If you look a little closer, you'll notice that I'm busy changing my whole paradigm. So I'll be sitting in my backyard, doing what I don't and what I do, and I hope you'll all come on by sometime and do it with me or not do it too. I said yodelay, 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 yodeloo. One more time, ready? Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Before Martin comes down to light the Christ candle, I just want to say thank you so much for being with us today. Bill and Patricia, thank you, Suzanne. Thank you to all those that contributed towards the service. The food downstairs, and for Martin for helping us out. But I have to first tell you something, and that is Bill and Patricia had a whole new role earlier today. As I was standing here and our dear Marilyn was walking up, Marilyn gives us her gifts with these beautiful flowers every Sunday. As she was walking up here, all she had to do was just bump the side of the organ just a little bit and water and flowers and blood that Marilyn shed for us this morning. And Bill and Patricia of, and also Brett helped on the scene, and even though that was not your role, wow, did they ever help, because I had so much glass and so much water in it. So we spent pre-service this morning getting that, and we couldn't have done it without your help, so God bless you.
We're merely protecting ourselves.
Yes. I believe it. Okay, thank you, Martin, for waiting. And now Martin will light the Christ candle and opening prayer. at the bottom of our bulletin where it says Unity on the Lake Shore, and there's our vision, our motto, our mission. I think it's important that we pay attention to that. The board here at Unity put this together, spent a lot of time on this. And right now I want to just to remind you that our vision is every life a spiritually transformed life. Now if together you will recite with me our affirmation. There is only one presence and one power in me and in the universe. God, the good. Now I would like to invite Sandy forward and helping us with the singing today. We're grateful, aren't we, Brett?
Yes, we are.
Okay, and Sandy is going to read our daily word. Thanks.
Morning.
God is my prosperity. Advised, stamp this thought daily. God is unchanging. Your belongings, while enjoyable, are not the true measure of prosperity. Knowing God as infinite source is strengthen my awareness of God as source by giving thanks for all I have, all I receive, and all I give. Rather than affirming lack, I bless what I have and use it wisely. Flow of infinite riches and honor are with me, enduring wealth and prosperity.
So just remain up here and help me sing because we're going to be singing I Am Listening. It should be up on the screen, but it's also in the hymn book, page 124. I am listening.
pray, I ask, Top of the morning to ya. Happy St. Patty's Day. Are you feeling a wee bit lucky today? Are you now? Well, I want to tell you something. Today is a day about listening, but I don't think we have to be all too serious about it now, right? But I don't know how serious you're going to be able to take me today as I have all of this on here, but I wanted to offer a little levity today in our crazy, busy world that we have and in our very serious world that we have. And I don't think I can keep this on here. And it was kind of hard going on, but I'm sure I'm going to have little pieces and remnants here of here. Yeah, I'm going to feel like I need to brush my teeth as soon as I finish here. Okay, well, we'll deal with the rest of it here. So today's talk is about listening to the still voice within. And I just can't. It's served its purpose. I don't think anyone's going to... I don't know if anyone's going to take me serious. I don't know if I should be taken serious, but... So I want to share a little bit about my story in as far as listening to God and listening to the stillness within. I think each of us has our own experience of how we connect with God and how we listen and go within. But before I share some of my story, I want to tell you that scientists measure that we have about 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Well, when you contemplate what that means, if you calculate it out, it's really having a thought almost every single second of our life. It's incredible. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having thoughts. That's just what the mind does. It keeps us active and, it's part of our humanity. Sometimes when, as a meditation teacher, sometimes I hear one of the biggest things is like, I can't quiet my mind. I can't still my mind. And what I say is, you don't need to. And you don't have to. And in fact, the more you try to quiet and still your mind, what does the mind do? It gets busy, right? It's like it's not going to be defied, and in conversations with God, it says, what you resist persists. And I think if you try to stop, the thinking, you'll find exactly that it offers a relentless attack until it's heard. So thoughts in and of themselves, there's nothing wrong with that, and it's all perfect part of the plan. Where we have an opportunity, though, is to begin to listen and to become aware of what those thoughts are. That's where the possibilities lie. Because, unfortunately, a lot of times we're walking around in the world being very unconscious. And we see this in cultures, we see it in politics, we see it in so many things where there's not a consciousness, a deeper consciousness of inviting God in and listening to a greater awareness. So what I'm offering to say is that allow the mind to do its thing. Just notice. And it doesn't matter, it doesn't even matter what the thought is, because sometimes we're saying, I just feel horrible. I don't know about you, because I've done this, like, I just want that thought to go away. That's not spiritual. That's not loving. That's not nice. Whatever our mind wants to do with it. But the mind is going to do its thing. And what we can do is begin to be at peace and notice the thought, but not buy into the story of it. To know that it's just a thought, and to know that we are something greater than that thought, that there's something deeper within us, right? There's something that is beyond that thought, the wisdom, that God wisdom, that divine wisdom within us. That's what we're talking about. So, sometimes I'll be having an experience and I'll say, this is just driving me nuts, But it's not the experience that's driving me nuts. It's my reaction and my resistance to the experience that's driving me nuts, right? I mean, if we were to just trust and have faith that we're exactly where we need to be, to know that God is divinely guiding us all the way through this, then all of a sudden we can have an experience where we can be at peace with it. And a couple weeks ago, I was driving along well, actually, I'll back up a little bit. I was at work, and I went to do some of my runs. I do catering and sales, and I went to do some deliveries in that. And everywhere I went, everyone kept saying, "Drive careful today." And it was a rough day. You know, there was a lot of snow and ice, so it's not something that would be uncommon. But I noticed it really happening a lot. Please drive carefully. Even before the snow fell, it was still dry out, and people were telling me this. And I went back to the bakery, and I said, "You know, Trish, you can appreciate this." I said, "I just keep hearing this so many times today." I said, "I think there's something, that I'm being cautioned about here." And so she said, "You definitely should listen to that, So I had been working at the bakery 10 years, and I can tell you, I never said that before in all the horrible weather that I've driven at. I never saw it stand out like it stood out. Something was different. So I'm driving along on the highway on 696 over in Detroit area, and all of a sudden I see this car in the right lane spin out, loses it, comes over and hits a car 2 lanes off to the left right in front of me. And I'm like, wow, so I pull up and ask people if they're okay, and everything was fine. I drive about another 5-10 minutes later, and I see this guy cut in front of another person. And the person wasn't being conscious when they were cutting in front. They didn't even know the other person was there. And it really ticked the guy off behind him. And so he decided, that he's going to pay them back, and swerves over to the right, hits some ice and stuff, and cuts right back in front of him. And I'm like, what is going on here? These people are nuts, And so I'm like, okay, so it's just another message. Just drive careful, just be present. We don't have to rush around and get, faster than we need to be. So about 45 minutes later, I'm driving, and I'm on the highway in the left lane, and I'm going really as fast as I can comfortably go, and I'm trying to give some space in front of the people in front of me there. And I got this guy in a van that's behind me right on my tail. And that is really an issue for me. I do not like that, and particularly when it's not safe. And so, here's part of my humanity coming out. I go, like that, what are you doing, and he's like, well, why don't you get out of my way? So we're having these hand gestures, knowing exactly. Fortunately, the hand gestures didn't get any worse, but in any case, so pretty soon, finally the traffic cleared, and I needed to get over to the right. And now he saw that the traffic had cleared, so he's deciding that he's going to get even closer because, one full van length is too much. He needs to make it just about a bumper length away, Now I'm really angry, and I realize, I'm like, in my ego, I'm like, okay, Father, please. I really see that I'm in my ego. I need to let this go. Please, I'm asking for your help. What do I do here? And so I have a chance to get over, but honestly, my pride and my ego got in the way. I said, I'm not going to let him bully me. I'm not going to let him push me over. So what does he do? He cuts around, hits the ice in the middle. Sorry, Mom, I haven't told you I got in an accident. By the way. So, any case, so he swerves around, hits me on the right side of my car, runs me into the wall on 696. I didn't head into it; it just kind of glared off. It took my mirror off on both sides, And meanwhile, I'm seeing him still going, and I'm thinking, I'm not going to let this guy get away, you know. So he put his emergency flashers on. It was a young kid, and I said, look, I'm a peaceful guy. I understand there's a mistake made, but I said I wasn't going to go anywhere. You know, there was no room for me to go. You know, you wanted me to get over. I didn't understand, you know. And he was good. He understood that he made a mistake, although he said, it wasn't my fault. There was a patch of ice in the road. And I said, yeah, that's what happens in this kind of weather here, you know. You hit patches of ice, you know. So, but you know what? All day, that whole morning, God was like, Brett, drive careful. And the truth is, God is always talking to every single one of us. Always. We only need to have the ears and the eyes to see and understand and hear what's going on. And, you know, fortunately, I was okay, and I think it was probably helpful that I did the prayer, and there was the awareness, at least, of my, you know, my big ego getting in the way. Because the truth is, had I just said, okay, Brett, let it go, just let it go, when I pulled over, everything would have been fine, you know. But, you know, God, I don't know if any of you have ever done that before, but so, you know, my story is about, gosh, I don't even know now, probably 15 years ago. I was doing a lot of my meditation still. I've been meditating for over 20 years, and I said to God, I said, you know, God, I said, how can I possibly follow your guidance if I'm not clear on my own guidance? I need to hear you. I need to start understanding what you're trying to get to me. And it was shortly after that time that I started connecting with a voice like my little boy. It was like my little boy, and hearing this kind of this thought that was coming through that seemed different. And in addition, I started to get a little pop in my ear, a little tap. And at first I thought, you know, is the microphone on here? You know, I'm like, what's going on here? And but I started to realize more and more as I was starting to do something, all of a sudden I would get a tap. And it was like giving me a heads up, you know, be aware, be conscious, something's going on. And so that's been going on for a number of years where I get this warning a lot of times is what it is. In fact, Maverick, my son, as he was learning computers a few years back, he wanted to learn more, and now he teaches me. But now he wanted to learn a little bit more, and he said he wanted to see the inside of the computer. I said, well, sure, let's go down. We'll take a couple of the side panels off. We'll take a look at, you know, what the computer is and what it looks like. And meanwhile, I got a tap, and I go, I got a tap. I said, and he knows, and he goes, don't do it, Dad, don't do it. Because he knows, like, when Dad gets a tap, you know, just listen to Spirit. They're trying to help you out. I go, well, you know what? All I'm going to do is just take the panels off. You know, it's not a big deal, and I won't do any more than that, you know. So I'm taking the panel off. All of a sudden, the whole computer shuts down. And what ended up happening, I didn't know because of the carpet, there was static electricity. I guess it doesn't take much in computers. I now know that is true. And my computer was down for about 2 or 3 weeks during that time. So, you know, he's better when I say I've got a tab, like, don't do it, stop right there, you know, something's going on. So I'm sharing that with you, not because, you know, it's like, wow, cool, he gets tapped, you know. It's because we all are getting tapped in our different ways. We're all getting whispers. We're all getting people coming up to us saying, drive carefully. We're all getting these certain messages that sometimes we're just not taking the time to stop and listen. And that is so much about what it's about. Now, when we say listening to the stillness within, we have to ask, first of all, to a certain degree, about how to create stillness. Now, I mentioned to you that our mind is very busy. It keeps, you know, we always have the thoughts going on. But there is also a point where we can create less havoc in our mind than we need to. And one of the biggest things for me that I have found is stop trying to figure it out. There's nothing to figure out. Now, when I first heard this concept, I was, another way Spirit works with me is they play songs in my head, because I think a lot of times I get in my own way. So songs are something I can relate to. I'll hear a song. So this is a little ironic, but I'm hearing this song that's a current pop song within the last couple of years or so. Try to figure it out. So they kept playing this song in my head, and I'm like, so meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out what the song is all about. Why does the song keep playing in my head? And I'm praying and I'm asking and I'm just trying to figure this whole thing out. And finally, I got it. It's like, I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure everything out. You see, there's that place within us, that divine connection, that soul within us that is connected with the God wisdom. It's the mind of God that we're connected and that we're privy to. We're privy to that at all times. And it doesn't have anything about using the 10% of the brain that we use, right? The logical side of the brain, we're so stuck in that we can't move beyond it, but it's not about that. It's about something that's a greater, deeper wisdom within. And I think we've all had that experience where we're struggling with something, and we're trying to figure it out, and all of a sudden we just say, all right, God, I can't figure this out. And what happens? We get the answer, do we not? We get the answer because we're not fighting against the process. We're not trying to get in our heads and trying to figure the whole thing out. So by trying to figure things out, it really takes us further away from experiencing what God has to offer to us. So that is a huge thing. And one of the ways of practicing that is certainly through meditation, where we can keep beginning to be aware of, the thoughts coming in, not giving them power, but just simply noticing them. Just noticing them. That's all we need to do. So, one of the other things that I would say in creating a life of stillness and creating the life that you want to have in your life is using our own willpower. And I would ask the question, this question was asked to me before, do you think God could heal the world if God wanted to heal the world? And for me, that's an unequivocal yes. God could heal the world if God wanted to heal the world. The question is, why doesn't God? And the reason God doesn't is because we each have free will choice, do we not? God's not going to infringe upon what we don't want. He'll provide whatever you want to have in your life. So then it becomes, if you want to create something in your life, it's being clear on what you want to create and then declaring to say, okay, God, you know what? I choose inner joy in my life. I choose stillness in my life. And it's getting clear on declaring that with God, and then having the trust and faith to know that God is going to lead us exactly in that direction. But before we do that, there's something else that needs to happen, and that is we have to believe that it's possible that we can create whatever we want. And of course, in Matthew, it says, with God, all things are possible. And, whether you believe that or not, it's something worth exploring. I do believe that. And you're going to think I'm a horrible driver or something here as I tell you another car experience. This one was my fault, however. I wasn't in an accident, though, Mom, don't worry. But it was, we had some really nice weather about maybe 5-6 weeks ago, and it was raining during that time for about 3 days, or at least over in Detroit area it was. And I was out doing some deliveries, and then all of a sudden, I'm on my GPS, and it shows me going down this one road, and it's turning. Well, as I'm going on this paved road, it turns into a dirt road. And when it rains on a dirt road and it's impacted with ice, the whole road was a sheet of ice. And everything else was perfect driving conditions, so I had no reason to think it was going to be any different. I hit this dirt road on the sheet of ice, and it immediately does a right angle on me. And so I thought, okay, I'm not going to make that, and so I thought I could try and turn it, but I didn't want to go down into the ditch sideways. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to go down straight. I did. I went down the ditch straight, and then so I get out of the car and I look off to the side of me, and the guy's there. Hi. He had done the same thing, and I said. He said, yeah. He said, I did the same thing. And I said, well, is a tow truck coming? He said, the tow truck came and said, it's too slippery. I can't pull you out. So I said, well, how long have you been there? And he said, 3.5 hours. That wasn't what I wanted to hear, So I thought, okay. I had just given a talk on, will and possibility, the possibilities of what we can create in our life. So I got back in the car and I started to do a prayer, and I said, honestly, God, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this one, but I am praying that you help me with this, So I prayed, I got back out of the car and I looked around and I thought, you know what? There's a possibility that I can drive along the edge of this ditch that kind of edges out back onto the road. And so I'm going to give that a try. So I shimmied around so I could get facing the other way towards the ditch. And I get a running start and I hit this big clump of something, and it stops me and I'm like, okay. So I back up and I thought, I can do this, So I go around this clump and I get back up on the road. And that guy comes over to me and he goes, I don't know how you just did that. And I said, honestly, I don't know either. I just did a lot of praying. So meanwhile, I go do my deliveries down the street. I come back, and I see the guy's truck's out of there. And I see him walk on the side of the road, and I go, do you need a ride somewhere? And he goes, no, I got my truck out. I go, that's awesome. Why did he get his truck out? He'd been there for 3.5 hours. Because he knew it was possible. He knew it was possible. And if we're going to create something in our life, we have to believe and know that with God, all things are possible. So when we're looking at something about creating more stillness in our life, when we're looking at creating more of a listening and really hearing God, we have to believe that it's possible that God is there for you and you and you right now in this moment. And it's only a matter of us stopping and listening. We get so busy of doing things. But one of the fantastic things about meditation is there's nothing to do. You get in meditation and you're just sitting there. And a thought comes in, you notice it, and you just come back to your breath, you come back to the moment. And what it begins to teach you is it begins to teach you how to be. That we're human beings, not human doings. We've probably heard that term before, but we're so busy focused on doing things. I got to be successful. I got to be doing this. I got to be doing that we forget to stop and just be and listen and know that God is divinely guiding us in every single moment. That's what listening is. It's being present and available and willing to hear with the ears that help us to open up to the truth of who we are. So I invite you, as you continue to explore with listening, to, I'm guessing most people meditate. How many people meditate in here? Okay. And I had talked to Reverend G. I was actually going to teach a meditation class, but in my listening, Spirit had said for me to not do it, and she was gracious enough. Fortunately, the ball hadn't got rolling too far, but I would love to teach it here sometime and share with it. But I would say with meditation, first of all, if you don't do it, I really invite you to just sit without an intention, just simply invite God in. Just say, Father, I don't know what to do, show me. Or even if you do know what to do, help me to just sit and be, and to know that there's nowhere to go, there's nothing to do. And what that does is it teaches us how to live our day, because really what living is about is meditation. That is our living, It's a meditation where there's a beingness about us. There's a listening about us. There's a stillness that doesn't get in the way of the thoughts. It doesn't mean the thoughts aren't there, but there's the invitation of the thoughts. It's okay. You can come in thoughts. It's all right. It's okay. Because it's so important for us to hear not only God, but to hear the thoughts, because you know what? We can be really brutal with ourselves. I can. I don't know about anybody else out there. Anybody else have that experience? We're professionals. We're professionals at beating ourselves up. And a friend of mine used to say, if somebody was able to monitor the thoughts in your head, you'd be arrested for child abuse. And I feel that's true because, we have a hard time meeting our expectations sometimes. And it's okay to have high standards. It's okay to have high expectations. But the problem is we never quite meet that goal, right? When we have this amount of money, we want a little bit more. When we have, this kind of relationship, we want a little bit more. When we have this job, we want a little bit more. And we never quite get there. So in listening, it's also about having the ears to just have compassion and hear what's going on so that we can be gentle with ourselves. I had said in the meditation, and I say this so many times when I speak about God's grace, because for me, I feel like my path is a path of compassion. And the reason I say that is because I find that the more I listen to myself, the more I notice of how really hard on myself that I can be, and how it is difficult to meet up with my mind's expectations. And so as my awareness increases, I have this awareness of really how hard it is to be me sometimes, just to be me. And it's taught me, of anything, it's taught me to really have compassion for myself. And I'd say that I love my path for how it teaches me that, because we have to learn compassion for ourselves if we're going to have compassion for other people in our lives. Because there's no way, if we're not practicing it with ourselves, there's no way we're going to have that experience with other people. So having that compassion opens that gate, that doorway to God's grace in our life. And what I would offer to you to consider is to know that when you're being hard on yourself and when you're being hard on somebody else, it's just as important. They're teaching you. The guy on the road who was wanting to get by me, even though I didn't like the situation at the time, it truly was a teaching for me to get out of my ego, get out of my pride that there's something greater, and to practice forgiveness, because it's in practicing forgiveness with other people that we're able to practice it with ourselves. So what the listening can do for us is it can offer us an opportunity to have compassion for ourselves. It can offer us an opportunity to really connect with God and our true divine self at a deeper level. It can offer opportunity to be connected with that divine flow that goes throughout our day. So in order for us to really listen to the stillness within, we have to just take a look at how are we getting in our way and stop trying to figure it out and trust that God is leading us exactly the way that we need to. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let's give our tithes and our offerings. So in unison, let's offertory affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am
I didn't write this song. You'll know that. And
I
you
didn't
are,
either.
You still didn't. You are invited to sing along. It is when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be, 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 speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Oh, I'm very out of tune, I'm sorry. Are we in C? It's a good thing we didn't let that be. All right, we're gonna start over again. Did your ear do something on that? All right. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. And though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they may see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, oh let it be. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in all my hours of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Wistful words of wisdom, let it be.
Remember, we commune together downstairs. I will join hands as we say peace. Okay, together. The light of God surrounds